One of the problems today that AI product companies are facing is the problem of token maxing, which is really a fancy word to say that they're spending too much on AI usage. Another problem that typical teams working with AI face is how do you even test if a new model that's releasing every week and claiming to be the latest and the best model, or a SOTA model, state-of-the-art model, how is it performing for your use case? You've already spent a lot of effort tooling and optimizing with an older model. Now, should you make the switch to this new model that claims to be better, cheaper? How do you even test if something is better? So those are the questions that we're going to be answering today. But before I show you the feature that helps you answer this question, which is basically evaluations, I want to just touch upon a few of the FastRouter features that helps you reduce cost. One is the automatic model selection. Should you wish, you could route your request to the model FastRouter/auto, and FastRouter will intelligently, depending on the context, pick the right model for you. There are also other FastRouter features, including provider routing, which enables you to pick the lowest cost model from a set of models on a certain provider, or you could even use features like flex pricing, which is available on OpenAI and Gemini models, which gives you 50% off if you could just afford to wait a little bit longer. There are, of course, other features like response caching and prompt caching, which enable you to leverage the cache, one which is supported by FastRouter and the other by the provider themselves. And FastRouter makes sure that if there's a provider that's caching your request, the next request with a similar context goes to the same provider. With that said, let's dive into evaluations. All right, so now I'm going to take you through how the evaluations feature of FastRouter works. Now, all you need to do to see how evaluations work is to just head to the model playground and make a request. So in this case, I'm going to choose the model Gemini 3.1 Pro Preview, which is Gemini's latest Pro model, and paste this request that says a small marble is put into a normal cup. The cup is placed upside down on a table. Someone takes this cup without changing its orientation and puts it in the microwave. Where is the marble now? Now, of course, you could say it's on the table, or it's in the microwave, or the marble could even fall off the table for all you know. But each model is going to answer this question in different ways. Now, Gemini says it's still on the table. Now, what we're going to do is to head to our activity log, and we will see this request that we just made on the activity log. And this request could have also come through your app. Now, what we're going to do is to run a fast eval. Now, there are different ways to run evaluations in FastRouter. And one easy way is to just go to your activity log, apply certain filters for the set of requests you want to run an eval on, and then click on fast eval. So in this case, I'm going to pick fast eval, and either I can now select smart or custom. What smart allows you to do is, in the case of smart, FastRouter will pick and choose a set of models for the set of requests that you want to run this eval against. And all of those requests, along with the baseline model and these smartly picked models, will be then evaluated by an LLM judge. You also have the option to specifically pick and choose other models and compare those models' outputs with that in your activity log. So in this case, let me choose custom and pick a few test models. So we know that the request in the activity log was from Gemini 3.1. So I now want to test what Opus 4.8 would answer, maybe Gemini 3.5 Flash, and let's say Grok 4.3, right? So why not add GPT 5.5 in the mix as well? So I picked a bunch of different models, and all of these models are now going to respond for the same request that is there in the activity log. And all of these outputs will then be evaluated by an LLM judge. So we automatically choose an auto grader with a particular judge, which is an O3 mini judge. But of course, you could also run this evaluation through another interface that we have in FastRouter, which allows you to pick and choose and even customize your judge prompt or modify the model that you want to use for the judge, and so on and so forth. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead with the default auto grader configuration that we have in FastRouter. So I just click on run fast eval and then wait for FastRouter to run this eval and give me the output. So just all of these requests are now getting queued, and each of these different models that we added via the fast eval interface are going to first process the requests that are there in the activity log, and all of those 5 outputs will then be evaluated by the LLM judge. So the LLM judge has a default prompt. In this case, O3 was the LLM default judge model. And there's a default prompt that has been configured. As I mentioned, you could also run an evaluation through another interface called the evaluations interface. So while the fast eval is running, let's just quickly head to the evaluations menu and see how that feature works. So in order to see that feature, so I click on evaluations from the FastRouter menu, and you can see that the fast eval that you've just kickstarted is still in progress. So you can click on create evaluation. Now there are different types of data sets that you could import into a custom evaluation screen that you're seeing here. The first is importing it off a file. So in this case, I upload a file, and the file could contain a data set. There could be a ground truth in the data set. So what you could do is you could actually add other models to answer the question, say, contained in the data set, and check if the output matches the ground truth, which may also be in the data set. So you could actually use a judge to do the ground truth comparison and check if these other newer models that are launching are actually performing at the same quality, and is it cheaper than the current model that you may be checking against. You also have the option to import data from your logs. So in this case, if I had to do the same thing that I did by just clicking a button, I would choose Gemini 3.1 Pro here. And for those requests, I would actually test if add the comparison models. The way I would do it is pick a model, add those requests into this data set, pick comparison models that I want to test against. This could have been your Opus 4.8, your 4.3 Grok, GPT 5.5, and I believe there was one more model that we tested against. So these are the models that I would choose. I would go here and choose the evaluation metric. By default, this is the autograder that has been configured, but you can pick any model of your choice to be the judge. You could also customize the grader prompt. You could save it and then pick a particular key for you to run the fast eval with. So in this case, I just need to give an eval name, and then you're off to the races. So this is how you would run a custom eval. So now let's head back to the evaluation tab. You can see that all of the 5 runs have been executed. You can just click on this evaluation. You'll be able to see that how each of these different models compare against your baseline. So in this case, the LLM judge decided that all of these different models gave an answer which the judge deems appropriate. Now, of course, this is sort of a question that probably one really doesn't have an answer to, but let's just go through it and see what the judge says. Now, Gemini 3.1 has said it's probably on the table, and let's look at what the other models have said. So each of the models are possibly saying that they are on the table, and the judge probably seems to agree with whatever answer has been given. But of course, if it was a specific type of question, so check if a particular image contains text that has any typos, for example, which is a very deterministic question, you could actually have your judge perform compliance against certain types of requests that may be very important for your workflow. And that's how you'll be able to check if different models perform well for your particular use case. Now, what FastRouter does is also, instead of you going and triggering all of these evaluations, FastRouter smartly triggers evaluations for the different types of data sets or the use cases that you use FastRouter for, and sends you proactive insights. So for example, this is one of our customers where we've been able to go back and say, hey, you're making a ton of requests with, say, GPT 4.1, but if you actually switch to this particular model, you would save over 90% in your costs. And for the kind of requests that you're sending, you'd probably save $5,000 for those requests by just switching to a cheaper model. Now, that's the power of automatic evaluations and custom evaluations and evaluations in general. So have fun with evaluations on FastRouter.